696 million users, $18 billion in revenue, and a 17-year-long proven track record. Yet, everyone's hopping off Spotify, and it's not just because they found something better. Let's dive in. Back in the day, Spotify felt like the future. You had unlimited tracks, playlists that felt like they just get it, and a free tier with ads that meant anyone could come join the party. It had that we're reinventing music vibe. But fast forward to today, and the shine is dulled. The core issue? Spotify has grown massive. In 2025, it reported 696 million monthly active users, and 276 million of them are paying subscribers. But growth doesn't necessarily mean perfection. In those early days, you felt in control. You discovered fresh artists, you shared playlists, you felt like a music pioneer. Spotify's social features made listening feel like an experience, and that became part of its whole identity. Then things began to shift. The pre-skip ad count crept in, the free tier started to feel like a Trojan horse for upselling, the price of family plans in many regions rose, and while it was still worth it, the edge began to fade. Plus, you had the algorithm magic. For many users, Spotify felt like it just knew them. Here's what you'll like next. That discovery engine became its superpower, and now, that engine still runs, but for some users, the spark is long gone. And that's pretty essential. When the thing you love stops delivering the same thrills, you kind of start looking for new alternatives. So yeah, Spotify may still be huge, still dominant in market share, about 31.7% of the entire global music empire to be exact. But dominance is a dangerous place if you stop listening to your customer. Let's dig in. So what really started to sour the experience? That one big shift. Price increases and value. Go figure that, right? When Spotify's free tier dominates acquisition, but the paid plan keeps inching up to $19.99 a month, you begin to ask, am I really getting enough? Your everyday user mindset changes from, this is great, to, is this worth it? Another big factor here is audio quality. While Spotify has consistently improved, it still lags behind some competitors in lossless audio and immersive sound formats. Users switching to Apple Music, for example, point to lossless and Dolby Atmos support as some of their key reasons for switching. When you've tasted better, going back feels like a compromise. Then there's the artist and ethical dimension. It's no small thing when artists start walking away or publicly complaining about the platform. A major reason people are leaving Spotify, the sense that the platform is not just failing them as listeners, but letting artists down as well. According to one recent report, Spotify's pay per 1,000 streams is estimated at just $3 to $5, while some competitors are higher. Add this into the mix, where there was backlash because the founders reinvested in defense tech and AI, which some artists said made them uncomfortable doing business with them. And then there's the market shift. Streaming is no longer a high-growth, easy-win game. Music streaming revenue globally was around $19.3 billion in 2023 and is plateauing. That means platforms must compete on retention, features, and adding value, not simply just user acquisition. Yet Spotify's churn pressures are real. Its premium churn rate may still be under 4%, but that's not as bulletproof as it sounds if there's no growth in the meantime. So these issues didn't happen overnight. They were gradual. They bloomed with time. As a consumer, you might have thought it's still fine until one day you realized you were actually listening less, caring less, and comparing. So what happens when Spotify forgets what made them Spotify? Here's where the tension escalates. As Spotify stood large, others quietly chipped away at the edges. Apple Music, Amazon Music, Tidal, YouTube Music. The list goes on. According to 2025 statistics, Spotify's share of the global streaming market is about 31.7%, while Apple Music sits at roughly 12.6% and Amazon Music around 11.1%. But what does that mean for you? That means now you have options, and your needs have matured over time. You might care more about sound quality, ecosystem integration, device compatibility, maybe even about where the actual revenue goes to. Is it the artists, platform, or the middlemen? Some listeners said, I tried Apple Music and the simplicity just felt cleaner. The library was similar, the cost similar, but the vibe different. And when the vibe and value align for you, you tend to switch. Another point, discovery. Spotify built its reputation on great music discovery, Discover Weekly, etc. But if you feel like that engine is stale or your tastes are changing, you pause. While Spotify still adds millions of users, 8 million new subscribers in Q2 of 2025, that doesn't necessarily mean you are sticking around. Your family might switch, your friend group might migrate, and you hear about it. Now add into the mix lossless audio and spatial audio. Especially if you have high-end gear or simply care about those details, Apple Music and Tidal are playing a different game. If Spotify doesn't match that, you can see the competition slowly widening the gap.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
And when you feel the gap, you start to explore your options. But the real question between these music titans is, what will the leader do about it? Before the runner-ups become the front-runners. Now, if you're vibing with this breakdown and want to stay ahead of these top platform shifts, hit that subscribe button. I'm dropping dives like this every week. All right, where were we? Look, Spotify has some problems in their hands, but what makes these problems sticky is the friction you experience as a user. Let's look at 3 key areas: user value, ethos, and differentiation. User value. When you pay more but feel less, you question. Family plan bumps, geographic price increases, and added features that feel half-baked, all feeding into that feeling. Spotify introduced weekly stats recently to boost engagement. Some users say, cool, but still not what I hoped for. Ethos and conscience. For a growing number of listeners, where their money actually goes and what the platform stands for matters. Artists are leaving Spotify claiming ethical concerns. Things like investments, AI-generated tracks, low artist pay. So when your favorite artist posts, "We don't want our music funding drones," you realize the tone has shifted. And when you realize, I have the option to switch, you just might too. Differentiation. If Spotify starts doing everything everyone else is doing, you ask, why not try the other guys? If Apple Music, Amazon Music, other similar libraries, similar prices, plus improved audio quality, the why stay question starts to become loud. Spotify once felt fresh, edgy, and the music came first. Now this music titan is huge, but the experience? It just ain't what it used to be. So people look for what's new and fresh.
Old and busted, new hotness.
Look, as internal friction increases, the risk of users looking at other options doesn't just grow, users are actually leaving. And when users leave, entire social circles shift. Music taste sharing, playlists, what are you listening to conversations start to happen elsewhere. So can Spotify even regain its mojo? Or is it too late to repair the listener relationship? We stand at a pivot point. For you as a listener, for Spotify as a platform, and for the whole streaming industry. Let's start with what you can do. Ask yourself, what kind of music streaming experience do I want? Is it about maximum discovery, best audio quality, social sharing, price value, or ethical alignment? Because there's no perfect score right now. You pick your trade-offs. For Spotify, the strategy matters. They dominate, but dominance brings expectation. If you're the leader, you're expected to deliver best in class across all fronts, not just pretty good. There are studies projecting Spotify to reach 800 million users by 2032, but stabilize premium users around 400 million, implying growth will slow and retention will matter a lot. For the industry, streaming revenue has grown massively, but the plateau is near. Digital music consumption is shifting. Streaming accounts for 67% of global music revenue, and in the US, it's about 84%. That means every user counts, and when users leave Spotify for alternatives, the ripple is real. So why are people leaving Spotify? It boils down to these three big shifts. 1. Value. The price has gone up, but the value they once received just isn't there anymore. 2. Competitors. Others stepping up in ways Spotify has been slow to match. And 3. Ethical and brand alignment. People are becoming more aware of platforms' impact beyond just listening. Combine these and you've got a perfect storm for change.
And that's all I have to say about that.
With that said, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this and want more deep dives, drop a like and hit subscribe. I'm dropping content like this every week. And I'll see you in the next one.